day. Oh my gosh. All right, Scotty.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo están? Feliz viernes. Happy Friday to you guys on WLTH AM 1370 and 92.7, and also on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook pages, WLTH 1370 or AM 1370's page and Nuestra Comunidad NWI's like page. We want you to follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also go and like us on Facebook and follow us. And hopefully you'll find it entertaining and informational of what we do here on Nuestra Comunidad. The views expressed by the host and the callers of this show are not necessarily the views of WLTH Radio, management, owners, and sponsors, and advertisers. ¿Qué pasó, Juanito? ¿Cómo estás?
I'm great, Eve.
Ooh, I can hear myself. Oh, you're doing great? Oh, good. God is good, isn't he?
Well, I hope my
God is good, isn't he?
email account is straight too. Hopefully when I
God is good, isn't he?
Eve, I'd like to ask you a quick
God
question.
is good, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What is the date for next Friday?
A very important date.
And no, first of all, what is the date next Friday? October what?
The 30th.
Okay. And
El 30 de octubre vamos a cumplir 10 años. Feliz aniversario. We're going to celebrate 10 years of Nuestra Comunidad NWI being in and of existence. Boy, have I put up with a lot. Juanito, you put up with a lot, right? Anyway, big old shout out to Pastor Kelly. I'm still wearing your aroma, Pastor Kelly. I have not been home, and so I've been on the go, on the run all day long until later this evening. But the reason why I say I have his aroma on, come on, let's not talk or think bad, okay? It's called smoking ribs. You know, those big grills, you know, that smell, the charcoal smell. Yeah, it's all in me. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. If you want to see the live that I did with Pastor Kelly, go to my page, Eve Gomez, or maybe on his as well, Pastor Kelly Williams out of East Chicago, Greater Destiny, Bible Destiny Church. And I just want to give a shout out to the pastor that's also with him, his partner. I didn't catch his name, but doing great things and bringing great things to Gary, Indiana. And we welcome you to Gary, Indiana. And that is the Righteous Ribs restaurant. Righteous Ribs. And believe me, I had those rib tips. Oh, they were so righteous. I got bad hair days, Wendy. And the wings, the chicken wings were so good. They had a distinctive flavor. You got to try them, Juan. They're right around the corner from you, right on the corner of Elm Street, man.
I had Little Caesar today, okay?
You know,
had Little Caesar today.
You know, today
right?
was his last day, right there on the corner of Elm and Columbus, because he's coming. No, we're talking about Righteous Ribs. Ponte los oídos, escucha. Righteous Ribs is coming to Gary. He had them on the corner for 20 weeks on the corner of Elm Street and Columbus Drive. His grill was out there, and the smoking and the smell was just bringing people in. And so I just want to congratulate him. Yeah. Okay, real quick, Juanito, you got some announcements?
Yes, from our Lake County coroner, first of all. It's dated, this press release is dated 10/20/20. Lake County coroner Marilee Fry is asking for the public's help in finding an immediate family or relative of a descendant that is in the care of the Lake County coroner's office. Her name is Rita Perry. She is 73 years of age, a Caucasian female who resides at 748 East 93rd Avenue in Maryville, Indiana. Anyone with information regarding the descendant can call the Lake County Coroner's Office at 219-755-3265. And this is something that's going to be happening in the city of East Chicago. I'm a lifelong resident of East Chicago. So this is going to happen, I think, tomorrow. Let me just read this real quickly. The United Against Racism Coalition, consisting of over 20 social justice organizations in Northwest Indiana, united by their shared commitment to racial justice, announced plans to hold a demonstration in East Chicago on Saturday, tomorrow, October the 24th, consisting of a car caravan, followed by a rally at Nunes Park. And I think I'm going to probably cover both of them. I don't know if Eve's going to be there, but I'll probably do some Facebook Live on that event. The event comes on the heels of a similar protest organized by the coalition that was held last Saturday in Gary. The demonstrators plan to meet up in the parking lot of the School City of East Chicago Administration Building at 12 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday in East Chicago, from which they will depart in a caravan at 12:30 p.m. The caravan will make its way through the streets of the harbor, culminating in a rally at Nunes Park at 1 p.m. And that pretty much is it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in on our page. You know, I'm always multitasking. Of course, those that are in branding and marketing and social media understand that we are to work in the now, not later. And we are to stay consistent and be consistent in order for us to gain audience. And I've been working this since we've had social media, or at least since I've had social media. And whether I get criticized or not, but those that are in this type of work, you understand that we must multitask sometimes. And I used to be bashed and talked about is, why am I on the phone if I'm on camera? Well, this isn't a TV station. This is a radio station. So we are happy to be blessed to now be on video, thanks to social media, right? So if you see me on the phone, and I always tell my guests in the beginning, don't feel like I'm not paying attention to you, is that I am sharing the show and inviting others to join us. It's sad to say, Juanito, and I hope you agree with me, and if you don't, I'm still okay with it, that our own people do not support us. Our own people do not say, how much will it cost me to come on for 30 minutes? Our own people don't recall, after knowing them for how many decades, don't recall when our station comes on, when our show comes on. Every Friday at 5 o'clock, every Saturday at 10 a.m. How long we've been doing the show for those 2 days at that time? I'm just keeping it real, people. And if I'm hurting some hearts, ruffling some feathers,
but enough, a long time.
Thank you. So would you agree with me?
Yes, I agree.
Right. And we thank all the guests that we've invited and have been giving of their time to come on the show, because it's not even about us. It's about what you're doing, you as our guest that comes on. And we've had multitude of guests. I remember we had a sign-in book where we would have, Juan brought a book, and we would have every guest sign in. So we have record of who came on our show. And we're celebrating 10 years, the 30th of this month. And we're going to open up the airways. Yeah, the airlines. I'm going to open up an airline. I'm speaking it into existence. Ethereal Lifestyle Airline. The airways, so that you can tell us whether you like our show, you don't like our show. I'll take your criticism constructively. It will not hurt me. It may hurt Juan, but it will not hurt me. I will not take it personal. On the contrary, you will help elevate me, if you know what I mean. Well, it's 10 minutes after the hour here on WLTH, Nuestra Comunidad NWI. And I will say that whatever your thoughts are, believe me, I graciously we open up the doors for you to call in, 219-885-1371, and tell us what you like, what you want to see more of, right? We've been here a decade, October 30th. Wow, Juan, you've known me that long?
Well, didn't you say even before that, because you were on Nuestra Comunidad Programa Bilingüe on public access television?
We've been on that long. I've known you that long. And we're still here and holding on as strong as possible. Believe me, I've had days where I feel that the Holy Spirit is moving me somewhere else, and people have to understand that. Juan may or may not understand that, but only when the Lord says it'll happen. Not when I want it. I want it on His will and not my will. You had over there, Juan? You want some water? No?
Actually, no, we're good.
It's 11 minutes.
I'll go check and see if there's some water. I'll go.
Okay, it's 11 minutes after the hour, and the calling number is 219-885-1371. We're going to have our guests come on, and Juanito, if you will, I would appreciate that. And also, we're live on YouTube. Our guests right here, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on AM 1370 and 92.7 FM. And we certainly are thankful for Jimmy to come on and wanted to share some good news. I think, if I may say so, they are good news. Anytime you're coming to build, to construct, to expand, to me, that's good news. Well, welcome, Jimmy Ventura. Thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you so much, Eve, for inviting me to this program today.
Yes, it's been spoken on things that have happened in the past, and I will say, quit getting stuck on the past. What happened 2 years ago, what happened 3 years ago isn't what's happening now. I'll tell you that much. And here, Jimmy is here to tell you what it is that I'm talking about. There was people talking about this in a good way and a not so good way. And, only the Lord will tell where things are going. And Jimmy and I and Juan as well have known each other for quite some time. And he also shared a press release that was taking place sometime today. Am I correct?
Correct.
Oh, okay. While this is an executive summary, if I may just briefly touch on it,
Sure.
Jimmy, thank you. There are currently about 10,000 tons per day of municipal solid waste being hauled to landfills across Illinois, Indiana borders with an average haul of about 65 miles. Research shows that there is a need for a regional recycling facility, and a facility that can not only service the Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland area, but be flexible enough to handle the municipal solid waste and construction and demolition debris, C&D, effectively in all reasonable costs to the haulers. With states, counties, and cities across the country now pushing towards the concept of, quote, zero waste, the Lake County Solid Waste District in Lake County, Indiana, has also adopted a, quote, zero waste program. Maya Energy LLC has positioned itself to work closely in concert with the Lake County Solid Waste District's waste program. Maya Energy is also working towards a, also, quote, zero waste goal. So we've been talking about this for quite some time when it was first brought to the council, when people actually feuded. I mean, I'll let you be the one to talk on this, Jimmy, but I'm seeing that you held on. You did not let the naysayers, the pushers, the bullies, the whatever you want to call them, tear down a dream, tear down a vision, if I call it that, right? Because when God, and let me say this to you guys and to Jimmy and Juan, when God gives you the vision, usually what follows behind that is the provision. He will provide.
Exactly.
He will provide. But first of all, let's get to know who Jimmy Ventura is. Juan and I know who you are, but our audience may not, whether it's on YouTube or live on Facebook. Jimmy Ventura. Who is Jimmy Ventura?
Okay, well, thank you, Eve, and thank you, Juan, for inviting me to the show today. My name is Jim Ventura. I'm the president of Maya Energy. And a little bit of the background, I am from East Chicago, raised in the city of East Chicago. And, went to school there, graduated, went to Cal College and so forth. And I put in quite a few years in the city of East Chicago and getting into politics because my father was heavily into politics. So I got influenced by my dad. And he was in politics in Puerto Rico too, and decided to come to the United States, swore he wasn't going to get in politics anymore, but he had it in his blood and he got into it. And eventually I was the young kid that would go with him to pass out the flyers through the neighborhood, and to kind of go to the meetings with them when I saw the mayors running and go to all the bingos. Those were the good old times. And so I eventually started doing a lot of things in the community, helping people going to get groceries, painting the curbs. And then I took my son Damon, he was young, with me. And, eventually started really doing a lot of things in the community. And eventually I ran for the committee office and was successful. And I've been a committee man probably for about 25 years now. And I also want to become a councilman of the 3rd District, And so, the 3rd District, I was definitely, we were doing a lot of things. I was trying to do as much as I could for the community. And then, like anything else, sometimes you get a little disenchanted by politics, you know what I mean? You look at that people don't really have the agendas. They have their own personal agendas versus the city's agenda. So I kind of got turned off by that. But in pursuit of all of that, this still taught me a lesson. And, from everything you do is an experience, and like God puts you in these places to make you better, to be able to deal with different things. And He gives you what you can handle, So as I moved forward through that journey, I was always interested in the environment. And so I got together in college with a few people that were also interested in the environment with me. And slowly, I really got by the waste industry and things, how recycle and make sure that the environment is safe, because, if we don't take care of the environment, we're going to be in trouble in the future. So with that said, I knew that me trying to move this project, which would be a material recovery facility, would be very hard. I mean, here I am in East Chicago, but my dreams were very, very big, you know. And what happens is sometimes when you dream, people don't see that dream, or they don't believe you, or even your own friends think that it's impossible, you know. But one thing, I was always persistent, and I always gave it to God. You know, I always said, God, listen, you give me the knowledge, you give me the will and the persistence, and you know my heart. You definitely know my heart. So as we move forward, you know, we went to Gary, and we started, you know, I went through the whole process and the whole channel, you know, talking to the people that I was supposed to talk to, political wise, to be able to try to get this project in Gary and the interest of the mayor. And as going through the project, I mean, it was very hard, you know. There was opposition. There were meetings I was with that was really, really positive. Then in public, they were negative, you know, behind the doors. And I don't want to get too much about that. But I always kept saying to myself, man, just keep praying, you know, Jim, you know, just keep focused on the end zone. And so through all that very complicated project, we got our permits, thank God. And, you know, we got the 35 acres at 2727 West 35th Avenue in Gary. It's a beautiful site. And, you know, now, thank God, after so many years and a lot of obstacles, we finally are moving forward.
Yeah. And usually when there's resistance, when there's obstacles, when things are being thrown at you, is because something greater is coming around the corner, something great. And what you're showing is tenacity. What you're showing is faith. What you're showing that what God has for you is for you and no man can take. And thank you for having that walk, for taking that walk, Jimmy, that I have seen and witnessed myself with you. And, you know, your press release, it speaks to the point. Juanito, you read it, the press release?
I have everything here, this article.
And on this facility, you're planning on doing some great things. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, first of all, Eve, the facility is going to be in a 165,000 square foot building. It is a big project, but this is the unbelievable thing, that it's going to be able to dispose of the waste that normally goes in the landfill and affects our climate. We will create useful products. So this is real recycling. And a lot of times, you know, people say that we were bringing in a dump.
That's what was being told.
You know, Ms. Ventura, you're bringing a dump and you're going to dump garbage all over the place and you're going to make millions and you're going to leave and screw up Gary. That's not the truth. You know, when you look at the picture and you look at the technology and time and focus that we put in consideration, I was a consummate. I'm 40 people. And I'm not, you know, some guy off Wall Street. I'm just an average guy. Mm-hmm. And so when we consider building this facility, we took all that into consideration, the people, pollution, make sure it's safe, make sure it creates a job. This plant is going to be beautiful, state of the art, and we will recycle paper, plastic, cardboards into useful products. And it's going to create a lot of jobs for the area. Basically, when we start, we're going to have about 67 jobs at the plant, but there's also jobs like truck drivers and construction. That will be probably a total of about 147 jobs. That's a lot of jobs. Mm-hmm. You know what's unbelievable? We didn't get that one incentive. Mm. Nobody came up and said, hey, you know, let's give you some incentives. We did it without any incentives.
Are you talking about tax abatements?
We didn't get any. We didn't get any abatements. We didn't get anything from the state. And again, I'm not trying to complain about it, but what I'm saying, it's just unbelievable, remarkable, because we didn't get any incentives.
Did you ask for any?
But we talked to a few people.
Well, keep in mind, Juan, that it wasn't easy for it to be approved, first of all. Mm-hmm. I mean, I saw a video where people were being disrespectful. I don't know if you saw.
Well,
he was at a meeting.
I got hit in the face and spit it up.
Exactly. And so, you know, you thank those moments, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
You thank those moments. Instead of getting angry, let that be what fuels you to press on.
Exactly.
And that's what you're an example of. And Adrian, I read your post and I'll read it out loud shortly, Mr. Adrian Santos. And we often want to jump on somebody's wagon, even when we don't do our research, our own research. And I know that you came to me, but one thing I will say about you, Jimmy, and no, he's not paying me to speak on his behalf. I was a witness. When you brought on a show, you came to a theater and you brought superheroes. That showed where your heart was and making a difference in our youth. Remember, Juan?
The chest? Is that correct?
Yeah, I did a book.
I have the flyer,
The
poster
book.
at home.
Yes. Yeah.
The book
for kids.
the book for kids, the show, the project, the characters, all of that is to show your heart.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed. I can only tell what I noticed and what I felt and what I saw. I have not personally told you this, but everything happens on due season, all in God's time, and his timing is never late. It's always great. And I just wanted to tell you that I commend you for that, that you stepped out, and it cost you money, it cost you an investment, and you did it for the kids. You did it for youth. You did it to show that they can do whatever they put their heart to.
You know, one thing I don't want to point fingers at nobody, but sometimes they print stuff that's not even true.
Oh yeah, well, we know that.
For example, sometimes the paper puts some real negative stuff, and and it wasn't right, But the thing is that I had a guy one time. I was at a strike event on Sturks in East Chicago. The guy walked up to me. He said, "You're Jim Ventura?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you're running a scam and you're stealing all this money from Gary." He just got in my face, And I looked at him and I said, "Hey, sir," I said, "I don't know you, but that's not what I'm doing. If you really kind of sit down and really talk to me, and you can ask me anything you want, I can prove to you everything I've done has been above board. It's been ethical, because this is the way I am. This is the way I was brought up." Okay. And I says, I love God, I fear God, and I'm not going to be doing any scam or anything that even appears to be. And so it was kind of funny, because about 3 days later, he saw me again and he said, "Mr. Ventura, I apologize to you." He said, "I finally found out what that project is about, and I really support it, and it's a great project."
And, and that's what happens even during this political world right now that we're going on with elections, all that. Because you're a certain party, because I'm a Jesus freak, you're going to talk about me. You're going to bash me. They did it to Jesus. Come on now, Jimmy. If they did it to Jesus, we are not exempt. They're going to do it to us. And let that be what pushes us to move forward, to keep dreaming big, because we have to lead by example. And our youth are the ones that end up getting hurt when they see other adults and other grown-ups behave this kind of way. So moving fast forward to your project, congratulations, because it's a done deal.
Thank you.
You send out the press release, and you're talking about state-of-the-art technology to sort things. So you're not putting any pollution in your machinery, doing whatever outside.
And we went through a strict process with the EPA and the state. Very strict.
Did you hear that?
Very strict process.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, it was really, it took 3.5 years.
Whatever is good is worth the wait, is worth working for it. And I applaud you and your team, whomever they may be, of Maya Energy. Why Maya? Tell us. I meant to ask you earlier.
When I was at the council meeting, one guy steps up. He says, "This guy is with the devil, and this guy's got the name. Look at the name, Maya." And he's made all kind of comments about the name. It was really crazy. And then Councilman said to me, "Ms. Ventura, where did that name come from?" I said, "That's my granddaughter's name." And they all got quiet. It's the Maya, her name. And for short, it's Maya.
And that's Maya, or the Mayans, those are our ancestors. Some of us, the Mayans, are ancestors. But
so it's my granddaughter's
so
name.
that really means that it comes from your heart.
Yes.
To put a name of someone that you love so dearly in a business name, in a company, that says a lot, right?
Sure. The only thing that happened was her sister got a little upset with Grandpa.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be a project to come up. I'm sure there'll be another. So we're talking about recycling up to 1,600 tons per day.
Correct.
Wow. That's a lot.
It's a huge project.
That's a lot. What type of recycling did you say you would be receiving?
We're going to be receiving municipal solid waste and also construction and demolition debris called C&D. And, it's a determination of need is there. We need it. And it's going to be good for all the cities in Lake County. And I'm looking forward to actually working with everybody, working with the mayor of Gary, working with the county, working with waste haulers, demolition experts. I just want everybody. This is a regional facility that'll serve all of Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area.
That just happens to bless Gary, Indiana.
Oh, definitely.
Some people may not look like it like a blessing, but we call it a blessing in an ugly package.
definitely. And I said to Gary when I was before the council, I said, oh no, we're going to help Gary. We're going to make sure that Gary has jobs. There ain't going to be no game playing. People play these games. You're not qualified. No, we're going to have workshops, make sure that everybody's qualified. We're going to train them. And we're going to make sure, these are good paying jobs, good benefits. And, we're even looking at potentially doing some housing for the workers. That's never done before.
Wow.
So when you work at Maya, you're actually going to be able to qualify for a home.
So let me ask you, there is a type of community that many people look down on, and that's in the reentry. Our brothers and sisters that happen to be incarcerated. Have you thought about them?
I'm glad you brought that up. That was one of the first things that I thought of. As a matter of fact, we're going to have a program for anybody who's had a record or felony. It doesn't matter, because I believe that we all make mistakes.
Amen.
And you deserve a second chance. So that second chance, we're willing definitely to give you a second chance and hire you.
And by you, what made me think that, sorry to cut you off, Jim, what made me think is when you said your housing, some of them need housing.
Sure.
It's hard for someone to get a job coming right out of an institution.
Sure.
And they look at your record, but they expect you to have housing.
Sure.
And if you are a parent, you better have housing.
Yeah.
But how are you going to support you and a child? Oh, well, that's what you get. You did the time, now you're going to pay. Well, how much am I going to continue to pay after I've already done my time?
Exactly.
Right? And in some cases, they've done their time for something they didn't even do.
Yeah.
So someone needs to give them that second chance.
Somebody needs to give them a second chance. You deserve it. Like I said, we all make mistakes, and we all deserve a chance. And that's what Maya's about.
That's somebody's breakthrough.
Sure.
Sure. And to have housing, that's even a double blessing.
Yes,
that they're going to always show up to work because they're right there. You don't need a car. You just walk to work.
Yeah.
What a beauty.
Yeah.
What a blessing.
Yeah. And it's going to be, it's going to be a positive place.
I love positive. I just can't help but to be positive.
Positive atmosphere, positive work environment.
And you're going to be breaking grounds really soon, according to your press release here. Dated the 22nd, which was yesterday, beginning the site preparation on the 35 acres of 2727 West 35th Avenue in Gary, Indiana, which that along the line, all the way from the Career Center, all the way to the University Park, and you keep going to Grant, you're going to run into what he's talking about. 35th happens to be a magnificent mile, which what Michigan Avenue would be in Chicago.
Sure.
Right.
And even when I had something, one is that also, in Gary, there are a lot of houses that need to be demolished.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things
what are we going to do with all that stuff, right? We're going to take it.
And one of the things that we saw was that, you have to take that somewhere. So Maya Energy is prepared to sit down with the mayor, the administration, and work out a program where we are willing to work with the city to demolish the houses, okay, and work out something with them. To be able to demolish the houses. And of course, when we demolish them, it'll be disposed at our facility. So that's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to go to landfill. It goes right to our facility.
Which is what they thought you were going to do, a landfill of junk, of pollution.
Yeah, which is totally not even close to landfill, like I said.
It's like judging the book by its cover. Get to know me first.
Correct. State of the art facility, beautiful facility.
So when you say state of the art, can you give us a description of what that looks like? Because some may not have that vision or that creativity in their mind to think.
Okay. Well, first of all, you're going to look at a 165,000 square foot building. It's a large building, fully enclosed. When trucks come in and bring the waste, they're bringing in what they call 23-ton or 26-ton transfer trailers. They pull into the facility, a normal facility. The truck backs in, dumps all the waste onto the floor. It's open. Our facility, the truck will back in. It'll have a scale and an apparatus to lift the back of the truck up, fully enclosed. Now, this is not outside at all. Fully enclosed. The truck gets emptied in a couple seconds, and it goes on its way. Also, we're using the latest recycling, sorting equipment that they have, made. So it's come a long way, recycling equipment, and this is the latest. It's got the optical sorters, it's got the magnets and so forth.
one question which probably our listeners, our viewers may be asking, because when it comes to Gary, it's unfortunate but true. We always think about funding. Where's it coming from?
Funding is not, we're not using, I gotta put it's private funding, let me put it that way.
Okay.
Private funding, we got partners that came in, and funding, it was very hard to get, starting, but we thank God, we've got partners and we got the funding.
Any questions, Juan? And for those of you that want to call in or chime in, I'm reading your comments on Facebook. Please comment. Call in at 219-885-1371. That's 219-885-1371.
You know what? I've been through, I probably wouldn't be able to, in my mind, envision the area there, but I've been through many places in Gary. Mm-hmm. But is the area, the 35 acres that you're talking about as it relates to your facility here, is it open already, or are there a lot of trees? Are there houses or something that have to be demolished in order to clear the land to make it buildable?
Yeah, no,
not knowing what
the 35 acres, it was they planted corn and soybeans. Mm-hmm. That's what they did there. It's open. Okay. There's no trees. There are trees around the perimeter of the facility. I'm sorry, of the land. It's got trees on it, but again, it's open land. And we intend to landscape the whole thing. I mean, it's going to look beautiful. We're going to landscape it. So this facility is going to recycle what you're going to collect to recycle, right? Including maybe parts of demolition of buildings and so forth. So you said these products that are going to be coming forth after the recycling is done, what kind of products are going to be able to be made off of the recycled materials? Okay, that's a good question. For example, when it comes in, typical MSW, municipal solid waste, has like 19% paper, 14% wood and so forth. It's got texture, it's got leather, that type of thing, textiles. And so what we're going to do is we're going to separate the paper, plastic, and cardboard, things of value. Mm-hmm. And those recycled products will go typically to like paper mills that'll recreate a carton that you see on the market. Maybe there'll be a box for something to go in. So they will be made into, a secondary market into clean boxes and so forth. And again, they'll be recycled into an end user. And that's what we're looking at. Now, for the C&D that we're bringing in, we're going to be recycling the concrete, the wood chips, the wood that comes in. There's also metals in it. There's various things, but our goal is to do 90% diversion rate from the landfill, which is a very high rate. Now, very high. Now, but we're going to be at about a 50%, 55% recycling rate. Now, keep in mind that the average recycling rate in the United States is about 24%. That's what it is. Okay. Now we are one of in the country, the world, probably Australia is like at 36. We're not one of the highest. We're one of the almost lowest countries to recycle. The state of Indiana actually has I think they have a resolution or ordinance. They want to do 50%, the state, at least recycle 50%. So this project actually will do that. So, do you have any, or not you, or you're the president or CEO, does the company have any actual commitments from any other cities or towns to be a customer of Maya Energy? And that's pretty much a yes or no right now. Oh, yes.
Okay, so
definitely. Definitely. We've got, what I mean, naming names and all that, but we've got a huge interest.
Okay.
Companies came out. And
they can come local now. Yeah. In some cases.
Do. And again, I know Juan has a question, but real quick, I want to be meeting with the mayors in Lake County. I want to meet with the Mayor Gary, East Chicago, Hammond, because this will serve this area.
Have any of the government entities actually, not to give you the consent, but are they excited about this? Are they? Word just came out of me. Are they receptive to it? That's
yes. We got a lot of mayors that are real. Actually, got a lot of mayors that were begging me to get this thing built. When I sit in a meeting with them, they tell them, you got to get this thing built, man. I mean, when you got to start? And I was like, man, this ain't easy, you know.
It took us 3 years just to get to today.
I ain't no multimillionaire, you know.
Not yet.
And yeah.
Speak it.
Yeah. And so, you know, I mean, this is hard. I knew what I was getting into, but again, thank God, you know, everything's moving forward.
Two more quick questions, if I may. Is Maya Energy going to be running 24/7, or is it going to not run 24/7?
My energy will run every day, 6 days a week, except Sunday.
Except Sunday.
Yeah, leave
So
Saturday.
that's
Leave
right.
a day
So
of
that
rest.
everyone can go to church.
Last
Amen.
question. I'm seeing here that your facility is due to open. I guess if everything goes well and on time in the summer of next year, right?
Yes, correct.
Like I said, I watch a lot of TV and this and that, talk shows, a lot of talk about COVID and so forth. COVID may still be around in the summer of 2021, which in a lot of places, depending upon what the companies did or didn't do as it relates to keeping the employees safe, and being that the fact COVID may still be around, maybe yes, maybe no, in the summer of 2021. Did you even and your partners consider that COVID may still be around when Maya Energy opens up? And what are you going to do to keep the employees safe?
Okay, that's a great question.
Thank you.
The waste industry has definitely been affected by COVID.
Okay.
So there has been a lot of changes made since when I first started this project. It's a lot of changes. For example, we now, from the equipment we first ordered to the one we're getting now, there's been a lot of advancements of what they call optical technology, where instead of the human being or the person literally being on a conveyor and grabbing the waste, we have lights that shoot across, for example, plastic bottles, and it pushes it. It picks it out in color, density. It's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. So
That's
it eliminates
high-tech.
human contact. Also, we've considered a lot of the PPE and mask. We're definitely going to provide that. We're going to have the partitions between employees. We're definitely going to use everything to make the employees safe. And also, we've considered, now we're looking at really robotics.
One last question, if I may, Mr. Liddy. So are you telling our streamers, are you telling 92.7 FM, are you telling 1370 AM that Maya Energy is going to be one of a kind or not?
I say Maya is going to be one of a kind.
Okay.
And again, when you work at Maya, we're going to be like a family.
Okay.
You come in with a great attitude and do your job, you could advance. There's going to be opportunities for scholarships, education. We want to be a complete, total, positive company that takes care of its employees.
Thank you.
That's great. It's 40 minutes after the hour, and I know that we've got some commentary on our Facebook. I'm going to read. If I may, I did say, you guys want to comment, say, call in, ask questions. Dan Aguilar says, Jimmy is great, and Maya Energy is going to be awesome for the environment. I've been working with him on this project and can attest this will be good for Gary. And he lives in Gary. So I'm a former GI. I still am a GI. I will always consider myself to be a GI product because I was raised a few blocks from here, right across from the Railcats. And I'm a product.
I'll say thank you to Dan. Thank you for your comments.
And Adrian, I can attest that Jimmy has put his heart and soul on this project, and I wish him the best of luck. But we don't, Adrian, with all due respect, I love you, man. But when it comes to being blessed, it's better than being lucky. I'm just saying. Thank you for your well wishes. We know you mean well.
Yeah, appreciate it, Adrian.
And thank you for the best wishes that you are showering Jimmy with and his company and his partners. But it takes teamwork, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You couldn't do it by yourself, right?
Could not do it. And again, this is bigger than me.
Amen.
This is not about me. It's bigger. It's bigger. And the vision is bigger than me.
Amen. And God will give you what is for you, and He won't give you more than what you can handle.
Definitely.
So He already knew when that vision was given.
You know what's really kind of, I can say, as I was doing this project, man, there are some supernatural things that have happened that I couldn't believe it. You know, like when things were really, I would sit back and go, oh my God, what am I going to do now? They just took this away from me and did this to me. I can't believe I'm in shock. I sit there, I almost want to cry, almost depressed, and then I just pray. And guess what? The door would just open. I don't know how, but it did.
But as long as you know who.
Oh yeah, and when I went to church, and I had the pastor pray for me. And I said, Pastor, you got to pray for me. And he prayed. He says, Jim, listen. Don't listen to what anybody says. He says, give it to God. That's what you do.
Mhm.
And that's what I did. I gave it all to him. And I'm telling you, I could write a book on this.
Well, you probably
my
will.
experience.
You probably will on your next vacation, whenever that will be, right?
Yeah.
Right. You're listening to Nuestra Comunidad NWI here on WLTH Radio, AM 1370, the Region's Choice and the People's Voice, and on 92.7 FM. Estamos aquí hablando con un señor que ama a Dios y que tiene un proyecto aquí que va a traer a Gary, Indiana. Y pues me alegra y me toca el corazón viendo que es una oportunidad, una segunda oportunidad para algunos y una oportunidad para los que están creciendo y están aquí en Gary, Indiana. Y va a comenzar, ¿cuándo vas a quebrar tierra? When are you breaking?
We actually started. We put a sign up, and we should probably start putting in the culvert. I was saying about 2 weeks, maybe. Yeah, something concrete in there and culvert and.
So you're breaking ground real quick.
Yes, we're moving forward.
Va a quebrar tierra en unas 2 semanas y esto es para darles empleo a más de 100 personas. Y está hablando que en el futuro, en esos acres que Dios lo ha bendecido, que tener este proyecto para reciclaje, cosas materiales de cuando van a remodelizar una casa, un edificio, y para dónde llevan todo ese material. Lo van a traer ahora para Maya Energy, que es el nombre de la empresa que va a comenzar aquí en Gary, el 2727 al oeste de la 35 Avenida en Gary, Indiana. Y quiero darle las gracias a Jimmy Ventura y a su equipo por la visión, por el proyecto que van a traer aquí. Así es que atentos, fíjense cuando esté la información disponible, si necesitan un trabajo, si tienen a un pariente, un ser querido que ha tenido una felonía, que tiene una convicción en contra de esa persona y necesita trabajar, puede reentrar aquí a la comunidad con Maya Energy. El equipo de Jim Ventura les va a dar esa oportunidad, va a haber entrenamiento, va a haber, y en el futuro, después de construir ese proyecto, viviendas para el que necesita casa y trabajar. Ahí está la segunda oportunidad. Y quiero darle las gracias al equipo de Maya Energy que están extendiendo los brazos para ayudar a nuestra comunidad. Aquí en Gary, Indiana. Gary es un lugar de oro. This is a gold mine. Es una mina de oro aquí en Gary, Indiana. Y estoy pidiendo a Dios que siga removiendo lo malo y trayendo lo bueno. Sometimes, God will take you out of your place and take you somewhere else to plant the seed. People will say, well, you're from East Chicago, Jimmy. Why not bring it to East Chicago?
Yes, what they actually say I was from Chicago.
You're from Chicago. Why not take it to Chicago?
Yes.
God opens a way, and you just have to have that discernment and have the ability to see what he wants you to do. And I believe that Jimmy has taken on that path and taken on that responsibility. For whom much is given, much is required. It's not easy. It's a road less traveled. Some people talk about it, they bash, because they're not even willing to take that step either.
And one thing too, who cares where I'm from?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter where we're going.
Doesn't matter. It's where God is leading us.
Where we're leading. And
I never thought I was going to end up in Cherville.
Yeah, who cares if I'm from
I don't care.
Hammond or whoever.
It doesn't make us.
When they made the comment about Chicago, I said, first of all, why are you even making a comment about Chicago? There's nothing wrong with Chicago. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't matter.
It shouldn't matter.
And it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter.
It's what's in your heart and
exactly.
what you want to do.
And what are you going to do with it to help someone else? Like you said earlier, it's not about you. It's not about anybody.
It doesn't matter if I'm from East Chicago, Hammond, or Gary. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I take pride in saying I was raised in Gary, Indiana, because I do want to say there is hope in Gary, Indiana. I'm a product of Gary, Indiana. I just chose to do things to take care of me. I chose to take the initiative to educate myself. I took that lead to say, I'm not going to wait for someone to teach me. I'm going to take the initiative to learn. We got Google, we got YouTube, folks. We didn't have that back in our day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't have parents to speak the language. So why I'm saying this is to say to our youth, if you put your mind to it, Jimmy's a product of that. If you put your mind to doing something, do it. You can do it. You can do whatever you put your mind to. And Jimmy held on. And I watched when that meeting went ugly. I watched the vulgarity. I watched the bad talks. I watched all that. But they did it to Jesus.
Yes.
Who are we? We're not exempt.
Yes.
It could happen to any one of us.
The race is not the start; it's the finish.
Exactly.
And also, I wanted to mention, we are doing a web page right now. We're constructing a web page, and it's going to have a virtual site where you can see the building and the people working. So it's going to be pretty neat to see the website.
Awesome.
I was going to say the name of the what do you call it, the .com, but I can't remember. I think it's Maya.
The web address or something?
Yeah, the web address. I think it's
Okay.
MayaLLC.com. I'm not sure of energy, but I think it's MayaLLC.com. It's not up yet, but it's coming. It'll be up and running.
It's coming, and that project is coming. It's coming to Gary, Indiana, whether our Gary people like it or not. Let's just help build up. Let's stop being selfish. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about what can we do collectively to build up, to rise up our towns, our cities, our nation.
Sure. And, this will spur economic development. You know that when people have good paying jobs, sustainable jobs in insurance, they feel good about themselves, right? They spend the money in the area. They buy a car. They buy a house. They buy food.
Money.
Exactly. So that money is tripled, maybe even 6 times the amount, because now spending is in your area instead of going somewhere else. And this is what I'm saying. That's an anchor for economic development.
And that's a plus for our city. And thank you for choosing Gary for whatever reason that was. Thank you. And if that's what God showed you, then you got to do it.
Yeah, God took us.
I'm telling you, what he puts for you to do, you better do it, or he's going to keep you up. And hey,
and believe me,
I told you,
Gary's going to be proud of the project.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that, and thank you for coming on here and giving us your story. And we're going to continue to work together, porque necesitamos también a nuestra gente que no habla en inglés saber lo que está pasando en nuestra comunidad. Y también Jimmy va a tener las cosas que él tiene disponibles en inglés, también las va a tener en español. Whatever you're putting in English, you're also going to have it in Spanish.
Exactly.
Para nuestra habla hispana, para nuestra gente. Él está aquí colectivamente para ayudar a una comunidad. Y si eso es que usted lo necesita, venga. Apúntese, sign up, say, how can I help?
Sure.
How can I help? How can I invest? Is there an opportunity? I'm just speaking it. I don't know.
Hey, just speak your heart. We're open to,
how can I invest?
To working with everyone.
Right. So, any other questions, Juanito?
So is there going to be a headquarters, and is that headquarters going to be in Gary, or is it going to be somewhere else?
One, we are actually, when I walked in, we were actually looking for office space.
Office space?
Yeah, and I know Eva talked to you about that.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah, obviously, ideally, we like to have it in Gary, Ideally.
It is done, and I'm sure you'll get some phone calls or messages. Hey, I got this space open for you. Hey, I got this open space for you.
And the building will have its own office.
Right. Well, I mean, you got to have an office while you are building, while you are hiring and training.
Exactly.
And
that's why I inquired about that.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I'm happy for anything positive that comes to Gary. But I will say this, and what I'm praying for, my GI people and politicians, is that God removes what does not belong in the seat, what he does not want to take place, to remove it, because our city of Gary has been abused, used, and neglected too long. I came as a little girl in 1975 to Gary, Indiana, and I'm speaking from the heart. For those that know me know that. Not knowing, but I saw booming. I saw people shopping. I saw Goldblatt's, JCPenney's, Robert Hall, the shops here. I saw Montgomery Wards. I saw Sears. I saw Goldblatt's. Woolworth, all of these stores here in my city, in Gary, Indiana. And we always want to say it was all due to white flight, maybe to a certain extent, but I truly don't believe it was 100% that reason for. We need to continue to invest and do good and stop being territorial. The Holy Spirit knows it, and it's coming to me and it's telling me to say it. That's the problem with some people that are leaders in this place. Some call it the powers that be, and I say the powers that want to be. Because if God's not giving it to you and you're doing it on your own, then you don't belong. And I mean this with all goodness and no disrespect, but if the shoe fits and you're going to wear it, that's not on me. I will not be held accountable or responsible for that. But I believe that it's time that we say, come on in, my brother, build here. I'm not going to be territorial and say, well, you're not from here. Well, money is money, and Gary is in need of money. But no, we're not going to take just anybody's money. Don't get me wrong. But Gary is in need of help, in need of love. It's like the stepchild. It's like the child that's been abused and neglected and used. It's time for DCFS to remove that child. If it takes somebody with millions and billions of dollars to come and help open the door to your brother, open the door to Jesus. He says, when you do to those least among me, you do it to me. Can we all speak on that? Community means that. Come in unity. So can we come together? When Black and brown, which we are called allegedly the minority, we are now called the majority. I'm calling it the majority because when Black and brown come together, that's powerful. You agree? That's mighty powerful. First of all, I'm going to take us a little step further. I'll take a minute or two before our show is over. If you know your scriptures, if you know your Bible, then we're all Black. To my Caucasian brothers, sisters. If you know your history, we're all Black. He just made us lighter, darker, slanty eyes, short, tall, whatever, to make us unique. His creation, his masterpiece is you, me, Jimmy, Scott, Juan, you that's watching and listening. So can we all just come together and finally say, I'm going to give up and give it to God? For my non-believers, I'm praying for you. I know you're coming. Because see, God allows certain things for people to wake up. This pandemic, he allowed it for people to wake up. Trump, his mouth, hey, you know what? I'm going to say thank you again, Trump, for doing what you're doing. Because look at how many millions of people started early voting. That's a record breaker. Yes? Yes, I mean, don't allow me to lie.
Yeah,
that's a record breaking.
47 million.
Woo! Thank you, Jesus. But what is meant for evil, God uses it for the good. So I'm going to thank my president. I'm going to respect my president. I'm going to love my president. I'm going to pray for him. Because what we really need to focus, not just so much on the president being Democrat, being Republican, it's what's best for us as human beings. Not what party are you? What's best for us as human beings?
And we need to respect each other.
Yes.
And work together, not divide. We need unity and we need love.
The enemy's only here to steal, kill, and destroy. And are you going to fall in that devil's den again? Are you going to stay fallen? Wear your armor. You know, if you're not wearing that armor, you're going to get caught off guard. Just like they're catching you with tus manos en la masa. Que no te agarren con las manos en la masa. Que no te agarren con el pantalón bajado. Fájatelo, póntelo y hay que unirnos. Comunidad. Unidad. Estados Unidos. No, Estados divididos. United States, not divided states. Let's stop. Let's stop all this nonsense and hating and being territorial. Gary needs everybody. I come and walk around these streets and I see the houses where my friends used to live. I'm like, my gosh, these schools have been abandoned for decades. These buildings have been abandoned for decades. My God, help, help. So I'm reaching out to all of you that's listening and watching. See, I had no idea that this was going to come out. Help. Build up, not tear down. And if it's actually going to be torn down, you're beautifying it.
Right.
You're building something to replace it.
Recycling.
You're recycling. There you go. No pun intended. You're recycling. Juanito, this has been great.
We're at the end of our time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me just say, not about tomorrow, but about next Friday, like he was saying. Next Friday is October the 30th of 2020. We started our show on October 30th of 2010. So next Friday is our 10-year anniversary. And so what's going to happen on next Saturday, October 31st, 2020, which is Halloween? I think they're both going to be here in the studio, hopefully. We're going to be having a robotic surgeon on Nuestra Comunidad Northwest Indiana on Halloween.
All right, so much for the Halloween. Anyway, I'm not about Halloween.
I just want to make one last comment real fast. Just Maya's here to work with everybody. Reach out to us. Let's work together.
How do we reach out to you?
Yeah, let's work together through the website, the press release, and we're going to be doing, a lot of marketing.
Reach out to me.
Yeah.
You can reach out to me. I'll connect you to him. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Jimmy, for coming on Nuestra Comunidad. We appreciate all the great work that is being taken place in our cities, in our nations, all to make it better, make it greater. And I'm not going to say make America great again. I'm just going to say make America great or greater. Right? On that note, thank you, Juanito. Nos vemos mañana. We'll be back. I'm not sure if I'll be in the studio, but I know Juan will be. There's so much that I have been doing, and we'll talk later about that. And this is only to improve and help our youth become greater and continue to build and speak life over them. So thank you so much for joining us. Nos vemos hasta la próxima. Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Se les quiere mucho y gracias. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and Twitter's coming up, and our Facebook page, our like page, and our friends page. On that note, thank you so much, Scott, for manning the board. We appreciate you. Have a blessed evening. See you guys.
How's it going? So what do you think?